Welcome back to another episode of the X Podcast. My name is Brenda Rigney. I'm your host of the X Podcast, as well as the host of the Aligned AF community, where I work with midlife women who are either leaving their corporate job, where I was about 6 years ago, and wanting to launch their dream business, or have already been in it for the last 1 or 2 years and are just feeling like this dream business that they dreamt up isn't necessarily the dream it's leading out to be. And they want to work with someone like me who's got a background in operations, and we really put in the systems, the processes, get your offers working for you and get those leads coming into your business. So today, what I want to talk about is, are you offering the wrong coaching approach for the clients that you're working with without even realizing it? What I mean by that is, from managing large teams of people over the years in my corporate days, I had to recognize that when I had a team of people and we were working on a new initiative or a new strategy in the organization, some of the team members had a lot of experience doing that, and some of them, it was brand new to them. And so everyone was at different situations, different skill levels in their development. And it's the same thing when we're talking about clients that we're working with. Some of our clients come to us with already an awareness of where they're at with that situation, with that problem, with that opportunity or goal that they want to work on. And some of them have maybe not as much awareness. They haven't tried multiple things. They know there's a problem, but they haven't even really started on it. And so when we look at helping our clients out, we've got to assess whether or not this is a task that they've had some experience in, or a skill that they have some experience in, or are they brand new to this? And as a result, they may require different approaches of support. For example, maybe they may need more directional support from us, or they may need more coaching support, or even more supportive support. And we'll talk about what that could look like, as well as maybe more of a delegating or a challenging type of support. So there's a model called situational leadership that was developed by a gentleman by the name of Ken Blanchard. You'll probably know or recognize his name from the book 1 Minute Manager, and he's written tons of books on leadership and management. I had the opportunity at a very young stage in my management and leadership journey, in my corporate experience, working with Ken Blanchard and actually teaching his situational leadership model to other managers that were working in our organization. And so it was a great opportunity for me to see people, leaders of teams, being able to assess their team members and what they needed from them at that point in time, and how they could adjust their coaching style or their training style to meet the needs of each individual on their team. And so I think as a coach, we need to get better at recognizing what our clients need from us and making sure that we have offers that support them in their needs. So this leads me into a discussion I want to have with you about 3 considerations that I think you need to look at with your business, with your offers as a coach. So the first consideration is, many coaches default to one approach. And as I mentioned, depending on where your clients are in that stage of their journey in fulfilling that goal that they have, and that's why they're seeking you out as a coach to help them, is you may need to adjust your approach where your client is at in the journey. Some people might be, again, new to something. They might be really experienced around it. They may have tried it several times and even worked with other coaches. And you need to really critically assess where they're at in the journey. So having some type of intake, some type of survey, some type of way of asking that client questions to be able to understand what they've tried, what they've been successful at, maybe where they've had some roadblocks or mishaps that have caused them to now look for future support and future help. The second thing is, you need to learn about the situational leadership model and how that can apply to coaching. So what I've done is I've actually drawn it up for you on a handy note paper. And as you know, if you follow me, I love my graph paper. My dad was an engineer, so we always had graph paper around the home. So this is the situational model in action. And if you see right here, I've got down new business owner. So this is where a lot of us probably started off as a new business owner. So for me, I'm a business coach, and I work with a lot of new business owners that are coming out of corporate and starting their entrepreneurial journey. And then after they've been in it for a while, and that can look differently for different people depending on their backgrounds and what they were doing before, say, before they started their entrepreneurial journey. But somewhere between new, they're going to move up to emerging. And this time bound between here to here could be literally, like I said, it's different for every individual. It could be 3 months, it could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be 5 years. But typically it's not that far because they're going to start doing things and they're going to start skinning their knees and trying things out. And so they're going to move into this emerging entrepreneur level. And then the next level that they're going to go into is this growing entrepreneur, where they've been trying some things out. Some things have been working for them. They've been getting some results, but there's still some areas where they're stuck on. And until they actually address some of those sticking points, it might stop them from getting into that growth entrepreneur level. But this is where they're starting to see some consistency, maybe month over month, maybe year over year. Again, the time span between this stage to this stage to this case can vary with different people in different areas of development. And then the final stage, and not to say that that's it and they'll never learn again, but is this established business owner, right? So they're established in what they're doing. You can apply this same model to if you're working with, say, you're a health coach and you're working with somebody that's requiring health support from you and wellness support. It could be around nutrition, maybe around weight loss. Maybe they've got to, like me, reduce my glucose levels. If they're a new client and they haven't done any work in this space and they're really wanting to get that introduction from you, that could mean if you're a nutritionist or a health coach, maybe it's meal planning, maybe it's a recorded fitness video series that they follow. This is what you should do in the morning stretches, things like that, routines that they can put in place. Done for you nutrition guides could be something that they fall into here. So now at least they've got some type of pattern, some type of step-by-step process that they can work through, and they'll see themselves moving into this next level. As you continue to work with that client, they are still using the meal plans, they're still using the videos, things like that you set them up with as far as routines and practices. But now some things are working, some things are not. They're getting some results, maybe they're not consistent results, and they don't know how to get themselves back on track. So this is maybe where one-to-one coaching could come into play, accountability groups, maybe it's a membership where they're in a community of practice. And then as they start seeing more consistency and their capability to maintain those routines that you've helped them with down in here and that they're seeing some progress, now they're getting into this sort of growing phase, this growth phase where you can see results week over week, month over month, etc. But they want to take on more. They want more inspiration to kind of continue on with their health journey that you help them establish in these two stages. So maybe they want more challenges, maybe some more peer support. Maybe it's in person if you're doing things virtually. So a retreat, a meetup, things like that they could actually get more tangible results from. And now they're getting into this stage where it's like, yeah, they're actually, whatever goals they had in their health journey, they're achieving those goals, they're creating new goals for themselves. And so this is maybe more a bit of a personalized performance plan where they have more autonomy over the plan that they're creating for themselves. They're still getting advice from you and running things by you, like as a sounding board. So this could be maybe more of a consultant type relationship, more advisory, maybe more private coaching, or an advanced mastermind. So that's something to kind of consider. Now, like what I'm painting the picture of is that there's different stages of support that these people are going to require from you. That means in your offer suite, you're going to need to have a variety. Or the other thing that you need to think about as a business owner, which I often talk about with some of the new business owners that are coming to me, is, hey, don't build the offer suite right away. It's great that you have these capabilities and can work with all these variety of type of clients and their needs, but maybe while you're trying to establish yourself and build that expertise and that authority in your community of practice and trying to build up that recurring revenue, that you have one signature offer and you decide out of all these types of clients and all their types of needs and all the types of services that you could provide for them, what comes naturally to you? What is, I don't want to say the easiest, but when it comes to technology or processes or how your business is set up, that you pick one of those types of customers and types of offerings that you could deliver without a lot of operational systems, guidance, and technology. So as an example, I'm a new health coach and I was maybe working for an organization, I was working for somebody else, or this is a new business that I've started to venture into. I might decide I want to work with these people here, people that are new to their health journey. Or because I'm actually new to doing the business myself, I want to work with some people that have tried some things but are struggling to maintain that level of consistency. And I know through my coaching questions and my insightfulness and my active listening skills that I'd be really good helping these people that are kind of emerging into that health practice for themselves. And so pick one area and devote your time to really honing in on your skills as that service provider, providing that support for clients at different stages in their own journey versus saying, I can do all of this right now and build out all the components and all the offer suites. And here's the thing, there are fabulous people out there that can be role models for you to look at. Like if you look at a Maria Forleo or an Amy Portersfield, yes, do they help people at different stages in their business journey? Absolutely. There are fabulous health practitioners out there that are doing offerings in all stages. When you're starting up your business, you may want to just focus in on one or two and ensure that you're delivering that. I think the other thing too that I see as being a possibility for business owners or coaches, consultants in this space is to also say to people who I don't serve, right? Like I would love to help you in this space, but really this mastermind is for clients, customers that I work with that are already doing these things. And because we now just did this application process, or we had a one-to-one call, or you came into a free workshop that I had that talked about the elements of this mastermind, we've actually deduced or concluded that some of these foundational pieces that you needed to have gotten maybe here and here doesn't mean that you're ready for this yet. And so I think that's important as a business owner that we look at our businesses and say, okay, unless I'm offering all these types of services and I can ascend clients from here all the way through this model or this approach, then otherwise I'm focusing on this group or this group. And I may mean that I'm turning away some people over here or turning away some people over here. Like as an example, I have the Aligned AF community. It's a great foundational community for people that are transitioning out of their corporate jobs and want to start their entrepreneurial journey. We offer training, tools, templates, because I think a lot of those things sometimes are sold way overpriced. And that's the other thing we'll talk about. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about your pricing around your offers. But I think sometimes they're way overpriced when they're really foundational principles, tools to get you started. And many of those things you can actually just find by Googling on the internet or watching some free YouTube videos like you're doing right now. And so why am I paying $20,000 for templates, trainings, and tools when really those are foundational pieces and I probably won't need forever. I will just need for a short period of time to get me from one stage in that sort of early new adopter phase of my situation to that next phase that I'm going to go through. So the Aligned AF community is beautifully set up for new emerging entrepreneurs that want to build those foundational pieces so that they're not having to go back and redo some of those things. Because I often have clients or members come into the community that are somewhere around here, here, or here, and they didn't get those foundational pieces because they may have signed up for this mastermind that was like $20,000 that assumed you had all those foundational pieces. And really, you needed those in the beginning. So we create this affordable, accessible membership so that members can come in, they can learn that foundation, they can build up the confidence to try new things in their business, to build out their offers, to start seeing that recurring revenue come in, and yes, invest more in themselves. And that could be through further coaching opportunities with myself or with other practitioners out there that are more ready to service them in that stage in their business. So it's the same thing I would say to if you offer financial wealth consulting or health consulting, what stage are your clients at and what can you best serve them? And if you are at a stage in your business where you can offer a whole plethora of offers and do it seamlessly and still make sure that you're not burning yourself out, then all the credit to you. But where I see people potentially making mistakes is one, we're teaching too much when they actually needed more support around execution and mindset. So what that would look like in the situational model is I've assessed you incorrectly. You actually needed more coaching, more supportive, more like, let's go in and figure out where you might be making the mistake. Or when you're saying you're not getting this actually executed on, what is holding you back from doing that? And so answering those type of questions versus I'm going to show you another spreadsheet. I'm going to show you another step-by-step formula because maybe that's not what I need right now. I've already got the teaching. I've already got the step-by-step and I need to troubleshoot on why I'm not executing on it. And so that's coaching. That's not necessarily teaching and directing. So knowing what stage is really important is key. The second thing that I see happening is coaching when you need advice. So here's the difference. Here, I need coaching. I need to understand, well, I learned the model from you, but now I'm not applying it. There's something that I'm holding back on, something that I'm having a roadblock around, and I can't seem to work around or pass through, and I need your coaching and guidance to help me support that. Growing is I've actually overcome those now. I'm good with the limiting beliefs. I have a new set of values, a new set of beliefs that are helping me move forward, take action, take the steps necessary to do the desired outcome of what I signed up for working with someone like yourself. Now I need more advice because, oh, this scenario came up or this situation came up. And yes, the model showed me how to deal with it 99% of the time. And when I wasn't doing it, how to overcome some of those barriers. But now that 1% variation came up, and how do I go through it? So I need some more advice here. So coaching and advice are two different things. And as an example, it could be one of my clients in like the business lens is debating between whether or not they should launch a course or they should launch a membership. And that's not me asking them like, well, let's get into some reflective questions about that. That is point blank. Where do you like to spend your time? Do you have the lead generation flow to sell a course at $275 or a membership at $49 a month? Do you want to spend your time? What's your effort? What's your work life like? Like me assessing those type of questions and then helping to advise them on, well, because you're doing this, this, and this in your life and your business, starting a membership might be the best route for you, or launching that online course might be the best route for you. So I think getting into the wrong type of questions can steer your client down a whole spiral of misguidedness, and really recognizing what questions are appropriate based off of the stage they're at in their situational learning. And then the other thing I'd be cognizant of that I see sometimes we getting into traps around, and this is all too often where I see the mastermind, right? Like the mastermind being advertised out there. It's like, join this mastermind, 10K mastermind, 20K mastermind. And yet some of the people that are joining in here never got the foundational pieces. So the person that's leading that mastermind is excited by the fact that they just sold out, 20 spots on their mastermind. They've got literally a mixed group of people in there. And I use this example from personal experience where I have signed up for some of those high ticket masterminds so that I can upskill myself in a level of business entrepreneurship. And so I'm expecting the other people in that mastermind, and as well the information that coach is providing me, is going to upskill me. But in a lot of cases, I found the other members in the mastermind weren't getting some of those foundational pieces from before. We were going back and it was like, okay, this is how you upload a video on Instagram. And I was like, okay, that's training. That's not a mastermind. And so I think being really careful about what we're putting into our offerings to make sure that it's appropriate, number one, for the price that I'm paying or you're paying, and on also what the promise of fulfillment is, right? Because I want to be in this situation. I was talking about being an established business owner, and I wanted to be in a group with other established business owners that would up level me. Now, everyone's going to be at different stages in the sense of establishment, but it meant that I was looking for things and I was asking for things that I wanted at that point in time. I ended up signing up for more one-to-one coaching with that coach because I wanted to really hone in on what my business needed versus worrying about how to upload a YouTube video. And I'm not knocking anybody that needed to upload a YouTube video, but that probably wasn't the right environment for you to be learning that. So those are, I think, some common mistakes that I see coaches, consultants making out there with their offers. So essentially what I'm talking about is being aware of your niche, being clear on what your offers are, and not having to feel like you have to boil the ocean right away in your business. When you're starting out as a business owner, it's okay to say, I'm offering a signature offer, and this is the audience that I am wanting to attract to this offer. Yes, you might be looking for this. Yes, you might be looking for that. I don't offer it. You should go over here for this. This person is ideal for you in this situation. Or if this offer, this membership, this mastermind isn't necessarily suitable for you right now, you might want to augment it with some one-to-one support to help you. Because that's also a possibility. Maybe the person is saying to you, Brenda, I really want to be in your 20K mastermind. This is what I want. I really want to be in the room with other business owners that are doing this. I don't want to take these other little steps. I might say to the person, okay, fine. You want, I'm going to bring you in maybe for a month for free, or just to see how it feels for you, or come into these sessions. Like, is there an opportunity, a workshop, a networking call? Like, so for example, I have my Friday networking call. That's a great opportunity. If people want to get closer to me and understand what it's like to be in my proximity, my Friday networking call is a great opportunity for people to come in and kind of test drive. The other opportunity that I've created is my list building workshop, which is a free workshop that people can sign up for and understand more about how to build their list, how to nurture their audiences, and how to convert more sales online without getting on sales calls. And so there's a lot of people that I come across that are like, yeah, I don't want to be on sales calls anymore, Brenda. I don't want to do live launches. I'm like, great, you should come into my list building blueprint workshop. Some come, some don't. Some end up joining up in the Aligned AF community and working with me. Some I never hear from again. And that is okay, because there are 8 billion people on the planet, and I'm not here to service everybody. I'm not here to teach everybody about list building. There are, of course, other people on the planet that might be a better fit, might jive better with you, and that is completely okay. And so I think I design my offers to be really clear on who I serve and who I don't serve. And I think that that is where we have got opportunity inside the coaching world to provide that, versus, no, I have to offer all these things, or I offer all these things and it's really hard for this person to get what they need when they need it, or this person to get what they need when they need it, because I'm trying to do all these things. Now, how does this also apply to, because if you're thinking, well, keep pulling up my notepad here, but if you're thinking, well, this sounds more like training and courses and memberships, and those typically aren't necessarily considered high ticket. True, not true. We can debate on that in another episode. And these tend to be a little bit more premium price because it's more coaching, advisory, consulting, and even potentially bigger contracts, right? So let's kind of work through that. Is there more revenue potentially to be generated in the coaching space and the advisory space or the mentoring space versus the training space? So when we do think about coaching, there is this higher perceived value because you can do some premium pricing around it. I mentioned the $20,000 masterminds, the $5,000 masterminds, those are all possible. Plus, it's also usually longer term engagements. People are signing up for 12 weeks or 6 months or 12 months or a week away retreat, things like that. So then there's higher levels of investments because it's a longer term engagement. And oftentimes there's closer proximity to the person that you're purchasing that service from. So when people work together with me one-to-one versus being in my Aligned AF community, obviously working with me one-to-one, there's going to be a higher price point to that because of the closer proximity, but also the personalization and the customization. So anytime I think people are closer to you and working with you in that customized space, then it's obviously going to cost more. And then the other factor, I think, with coaching versus training is that when we scale our business, because we've added on more people, processes, systems to help us scale more effectively, we can see multiple offers coming through, right? And so it's not just bringing on a couple people at 5K a month. We're now bringing on 20 people at 5K a month or 20 people at 10K a month. And we're seeing like volumes increase exponentially in our business. So that can be true and said for coaching offers. For training offers, and when we do think about courses or memberships or workshops, so those can sometimes be priced at a lower price. But sometimes, again, there's opportunities through tripwires, et cetera, to add on more. So say something's offered at $49, but before you cash out, you can add on one-to-one coaching. You can add on another course. Oh, wait, you can add on this. And before you know it, that $49 course is now turned into $259 on your credit card. So there's different ways that you can upsell and obviously raise your total monthly revenue coming in. Oftentimes the training, it's considered a one-time engagement, this workshop, this workbook, this course. And so that can sometimes be the end of the relationship versus with coaching, because we're spending so much time together, there's an automatic incentive to renew because you know this person better. And then sometimes people will say with training, there's a lack of transformation, although I would say not always. And so I think it's just depend on, again, how you're defining that in your messaging. If you are new to this task or this experience, and it's been something that you've wanted to work on and overcome, moving from here to now emerging can be a transformation. So being clear on this is what you're going to get from this training, and it's going to take you from here to here. So now you can do this in your business, in your relationships, in your health. So that training can be a transformation. It's just how I think the messaging comes across. Sometimes it seems very finite. And so then people aren't necessarily seeing it as a transformation. Now, how do we see training compete on a level for revenue that coaching naturally just brings in for us because we can price it at a premium price. Well, I think with training, it's higher volumes, right? So that means we need to have an ample lead generation flow. I was teaching a class the other day on email marketing, and the metrics that we measure with email marketing isn't so much about unsubscribes, although our brain will say, oh, we're not doing so great because we had 2 unsubscribes this week. But the reality is it's how many people are we adding into that sales funnel? How many people are we inviting to that workshop? When I started doing my evergreen workshop model, the end of December, beginning of January this year, I would see maybe 45 people sign up for a workshop or 37 people show up for a workshop. Now I'm seeing upwards of 550 people signing up for my workshop, and I still have 2 more weeks to go before I actually run this workshop. By the time I get to that workshop 2 weeks from now, I might have close to 1,000 people sign up in that workshop. That's 1,000 new subscribers in my email list that are interested in list building, that are interested in growing their business without getting on sales calls and doing icky DMs and cringy live launches. So that is actually really exciting to me. And that means there's a possibility of working with, even at a 3% conversion, 30 new people this year out of that workshop that's going to be happening in a couple of weeks. With coaching, I could just sell to one person and make $5,000. With training, I may need to sell to 30 people to make $5,000. But to bring people into my funnel can be sometimes a little bit easier than trying to find that one person at 5,000. You can also be looking at doing training contracts with organizations. If you say are a facilitator or a leadership coach, there are a lot of organizations out there that are lacking in leadership development, that are lacking in providing their leaders with the coaching skills to lead teams. And they might need someone like you. And so you could be able to work with organizations and be under contract or under retainer with them and teach their management development training for their frontline managers. That could be something you could do for years. So not to knock those opportunities. Certification programs. Maybe you have a 5-step process or a 7-step model that now you can do licensing around or certifications around. Training in a box. You can teach other coaches how to take your model into their specific business and lead it forward. And we know that the coaching industry has ballooned into this billions and billions of dollar industry because other coaches have taken their models and now gone into licensing, gone into certifications. So that's a possibility for you as well. Events, summits where you charge and you have other speakers, other people along the similar path that you're going to be talking about at that summit, or you could be a keynote speaker at a summit and actually get paid for speaking at that event. Licensing, I've already talked about. But the best approach, I would say, is if you were starting off and you're thinking, yeah, Brenda, I'm not ready to do the whole offer suite. I'm not ready to boil the ocean and work with all these different types of clients I possibly could do in my area of expertise. I really want to hone in on focusing on these people. Then I would start with some type of low ticket training to start with, just to even build up that expertise. Memberships, communities can be a great way to just build up that expertise. You can have a free community on the school platform and actually start bringing people in very quickly and then launch them into a paid community afterwards. Then as you continue to merge and build up that expertise and that authority, you can start getting into a group coaching or even a paid membership community. As I mentioned, you could start a free community on school and then migrate those people, upsell those people into your paid community where they get even more coaching from you and more customization. And then you could potentially even launch into a mastermind, right? Where it's a higher ticket mastermind, 5K, 10K, where you're really providing more of that personalization and customization support for those members that started off in a free community with you and then emerged into your paid community and then into your higher ticket community. So there's lots of ways that you can approach this. And if you have more questions about setting up your offers, feel free to reach out to me. But in closing, I think there are a couple of things that I just really want to emphasize that when you're adopting your coaching approach, pick a niche and really focus in on that versus trying to deliver everything to everybody. And really match your coaching approach with where your clients are at in their journey. Adopt that one coaching approach and really perfect it to a point where it's now part of your signature offer and it's bringing in 80% of your total revenue with 20% effort. That is the ideal formula. Offer the right programs and the services and the support at the right time when you in your business, as well as your clients, can appreciate it and actually Share those transformations, share those testimonials with other people that you are the expert and worth the money that they paid for because they were able to adopt the things because they were at the right space and time to be able to take on all of the great things that you offer them. Feel free to reach out to me with questions that you have and just observations that you've also seen in the coaching community and how that applies in your business as a coach and a consultant for your clients. Good to have you here, and stay tuned for more episodes that come out every single week. Make sure you check also the show notes for some really helpful links on where to get started. We'll see you soon.